back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to do an update to the video I covered, well, actually earlier today, which is titled, Wife Canceled Our Weekend at the Lake for a Work Trip, but secretly took her lover instead. And guys, that video, which I covered earlier, at the time I filmed it yesterday, which was Saturday, the 21st, and I had no idea there was an update. So a lot of you guys, the second that video posted this morning, you let me know by email that it had an update, so I appreciate that, and I came to come film this now. I'm going to publish it now so you guys can continue to hear what's going on with this guy's story. And as a brief recap, because, I know you guys that watch this early know what happened, but those that watch this in the future, I can give you the update. That's about the guy who married for 8 years, thought he had an amazing marriage, put way too much into his relationship, or put too much stock in her, obviously treated her too well, too much like the queen, pedestal, that type of thing. And lo and behold, discovers she's cheating on him. And upon that, because he actually witnessed this when in the city one day when he saw her, he then started doing his homework and research and found damning proof. And the worst part of it was when he found out that through her phone, pictures and texts and all that on a weekend getaway he planned for her to, rekindle things because they've been married a while and the romance has been slowing down. He found out that she lied about a work trip and took her lover instead. And that's it. And he said, we're done, we're out of here. And of course, she put on the waterworks, I'm so sorry, and I'll do anything to make up for this, and you're the one I love, that type of crap, but that guy ain't having it. So anyhow, we're going to continue on with this guy's adventures here. This is a series of 2 updates he did, all within literally the moment I got everything ready for yesterday's video, here's on for more stuff. So he says here, first thing this morning, I went over to his house. He's talking about the guy that his wife's cheating with. She was there, but he wasn't. It worked out better this way because it gave me a chance to talk to her without him there to deny it. When I got there, he wasn't home, but she was. When I told her, this is the wife of the guy's banging his wife, at first she didn't believe me. She kept saying that I had the wrong guy. But then I showed her the text, the photos, and everything. That's an awkward conversation, showing somebody's house and saying to a woman, your husband's cheating on you with my wife. You can see she doesn't want to believe it. You can see the devastation that hit her like a ton of bricks. She was completely blindsided. I apologized, and I told her I wish I didn't have to be the one to tell her this, but I thought she had to know right now. She thanked me, and I gave her my number in case she wanted to talk or needed anything. They've only been married for 1 year, no kids. Well, that's good there's no kids involved. When I got home, my wife was furious with me. Really? She's furious with you? After everything she's done, she has the nerve to be mad at you, even though she's begging your forgiveness earlier in the day? Apparently, the wife called the husband, and he called mine to tell her what I'd done. My wife was angry, not about the mess she caused, but because I outed her affair. I couldn't believe it. She was more worried about her affair partner's reaction than what she had done to me. That's because she doesn't give a shit about you, bro. The affair partner has her mind, has her soul, not you. She just wants to keep you around so she doesn't look like a fool publicly and have to go through a divorce. She wants to have you, but have her guy on the side. Pay attention to actions right then and there. She doesn't care. And then it got worse. This guy, the man who destroyed both our marriages, had the nerve to come to my house, banging on my door like a crazy lunatic. I opened it, tried to stay calm, but I was fuming. He started yelling, accusing me of ruining his marriage. Hold on here. This dude's been banging this guy's wife for months. He informs the wife of this dude who's cheating with his wife. And this guy has the nerve to show up on his house, his property, yelling and screaming and saying that you ruined my marriage. Oh, okay. Yeah. It ain't just the gals that have issues with accountability here. These are both narcissists. They're assholes. They're losers. The sheer audacity. I told him to get off my property, that if he wanted to blame someone, he should look at himself and my wife, not me. He was yelling obscenities at me. Call the cops. Or if you are in certain states in this country, grab your weapon from the closet or the safe. I'm sure he'll get the point. I didn't want to get physical with him. I turned to my wife and said, you brought this trash in our lives, you get him off my porch. And I started to go back inside. She tried to get him to leave, but that's when things really took a turn. Oh, how could this get worse? He grabbed her arm, shoved her, and she fell. I can't say she doesn't entirely deserve this, but still, this is his property and his wife. Yeah, this guy has an ass whooping coming. And again, in certain states in this country, and I gotta watch what I say here, certain guys would be handling this with their, I don't know, I think Smith & Wesson. At that moment, something snapped inside of me. I'm not a violent man, but seeing him put his hands on her, in spite of everything, sent me over the edge. I restrained him, warned him if he ever set foot near my house again or touched my wife again, I'd call the police. He panicked and left. Smack! You should have called the police. He was on your property trespassing, making threats, grabbed her, shoved her. For God's sakes, man. Now you gotta have a restraining order against this guy because you never know who he's gonna pull next. Call the police. Restraining order. And everybody nowadays should have fucking surveillance and security on their property. Before I went back in the house, I turned to my wife and asked her, this is the man you chose over me? I will never forgive you for the position you put me in. She just stood there, staring at me in shock. For the first time since this nightmare started, I saw it on her face. Like it finally hit her. The damage, the betrayal, the messes she'd made. She collapsed on the ground, sobbing. Oh, boo freaking who, bitch. She brought this on herself. I still can't wrap my head around how she destroyed our lives for that guy. Bro, I'm sorry it happened to you, but this happens all the time. Women have husbands that are great to them. Yeah, maybe they're not taking them out on dates as much because, I don't know, they're busy working overtime and working hard to bring home money for the family. But still, she throws away a great guy, great situation for some lowlife. You think this guy is going to leave his wife for her? Not a chance. I've asked her to leave my house, but she refuses. I can't stand being in her presence, so I'm considering staying at my close friend's place for a while. I'm meeting him tonight for a drink to tell him everything. Bro, you shouldn't have to leave. She should leave. I get she's obviously not voluntarily going, and if her name is on the deed, obviously that's going to be an issue here, but still. Now, I'm going to read a couple comments here about this whole thing and jump into the next part of this whole fiasco. One guy says here, OP's filing restraining charges against him, and he came to your home threatening you. They usually work for 30 days, and this is for you, your kids, and your property. Well, this guy doesn't have any kids. Then file for divorce on Monday. No point even thinking about reconciling with this woman. I would also call her family, and your close friends, and let them know that you filed. Why you filed, naming him, and letting them know about the assault on her. Now, the only caveat in this would be how much you will lose in the divorce. Then come back and ask to make reconciliation so one-sided that she'll want a divorce. Another guy says here, stay at your house. Good restraint, but if that trash sets foot on your property again, I would either let my dog have a go at him or show him my technique swinging a baseball bat. What your wife did is unforgivable. We know it. She hurt you more than words can describe. With that being said, she just was manhandled by a man and calling you out for ruining his marriage. I've unfortunately seen situations like this turn to self-harm or worse. You showed her grace and what a real man is by coming to her aid even at your angriest. You're a good person. Don't let any of this change about you. Best of luck. Right. Get rid of her. Don't buy her bullshit. Look at her actions. Even remember, guys, in the first video, the second he caught her and showed that he caught her with the evidence on her phone, she's bawling and begging and pleading and crying. Then now she's yelling at him because he went and told that guy's wife. Right? So her actions say everything. So he continues, says, last night I met up with my best friend for drinks. After reading the advice from many of you suggesting I steer clear of alcohol for now, I decided to drive to avoid the temptation. Very good idea. That alcohol could probably make you go to a bad place and do some stupid things. My wife knew where I was, and she was concerned about what people in our community might think if they found out what she did. But she also said that she was happy I had someone to talk to, since she knew I was hurting deeply. You already said there, the first thing. She was concerned what people in the community would think if they found out what she did. Again, doesn't seem to care how this guy's feeling, but it's all about how she's going to look to everybody in their circle of friends, the community, and all that. Bro, come on, the writing is on the wall. Aside from her actions about cheating on you, she doesn't care. Finally, being able to talk to someone about everything lifted a weight off my shoulders, but at the same time, it felt like the full reality of my situation hit me all over again. It's devastating, really. That's how everybody feels when something like this happens to them. When I got home, it was late, but she was still awake, watching our wedding video, and I could tell she'd been crying. Seeing that set me off. I got angry, asking her why was she even bothering to watch it, accusing her of trying to manipulate me. That's exactly what she was doing. I guarantee you the second she left, she got out the old DVD or whatever, and put it in there, and the second your car pulled in, she saw the headlights coming in, or the garage door opened up, all of a sudden she thought of like something sad, like something stupid, and whipped up some tears, probably put the video on play when you're doing your wedding dance, and then, all total manipulation tactic. Don't fall for it. She said that wasn't her intention. That for months, she felt like she was living in someone else's body, but now she was really finally realizing how badly she had messed up. Oh, please. She's a grown-ass woman in her 30s. I believe she's in her 30s, or darn close. I forget how fucking old she is, but she's old enough to know darn well what she was doing. Come on here. Don't fall for it, dude. She said she watched the video because she just wanted to see us during a time when we were happy. This newsflash, she's never going to be happy. I told her it's a shame she didn't realize how good we had it, how happy I was with her. I thought she felt the same way. She broke down, saying that she had been stupid not to appreciate what she had right in front of her. I'm usually strong-willed, and I don't waver easily, but this whole situation has broken me, and I'm not proud of what happened next. Don't you do it. Don't you fall for it, sir. It's understandable you have a roller coaster of emotions. You've been with her for like a decade, but don't fall for it. She hugged me and kissed me, and I let her. But just before I went any further, I caught myself. I pulled back and told her this wasn't going to work, as she couldn't possibly believe that I would just forgive her for everything she did. She said she understood, but wanted to talk. So we sat down and we talked for hours. More like she talked and bullshitted you and tried to use a Jedi mind trick on you. I asked her why she did it, and she said she'd been thinking about that all day. Really, she had to think all day why she did it? I'm sure she's known all along why she did it and found reasons to justify her actions. She wasn't sure exactly why she did it, but she admitted she missed the excitement in our relationship. No, she didn't miss the excitement in your relationship. She missed the excitement and butterflies of the single life, not knowing what's going to happen next, an unpredictable guy, the tingles, the butterflies, and all that. And you ain't going to get that with a nice guy. You might get that in the very beginning, oh, where's he going to take me on a date or this, and peeling the onion to find out things about him. But nothing's going to bring out the tingles and excitement, unpredictability of the bad boy. And the bad boy is cheating on his wife with her. Think about the thrill for her, the validation. Ooh, this guy likes me so much that he's willing to cheat on his wife and risk his marriage to cheat on with me. That's the thrill she's getting here. She knows what she's doing. Let's see, what else? What other bullshit here? She wasn't exactly sure why, blah, blah, blah. I told her I already knew that. We had talked about before, and we agreed to make more of an effort. More date nights, less work. But she said it wasn't enough. She said there were times I'd cancel date nights for work, and that made her feel like an afterthought. Here we go. It's his fault. Well, okay, fine. He had to cancel some dates because guess what? When you're a young guy early on in your career, sometimes shit happens for work. It's unfortunate. It wasn't personal against her. And she obviously canceled things for him. But there you go. He's the bad guy here. So her solution? Cheat on him. Make him look like a fool. Don't buy it. I owned it to my part in the things, but reminded her that none of it justified what she did. She agreed, but she wanted me to know what led her to make those choices. Nope, don't fall for it. Then I told her how I found out. She looked shocked, thinking I'd only discovered the affair by going through her phone. I told her I saw her kissing him outside the coffee shop. She was floored. Yeah, because she was thinking, hey, it's the busy city. No one's going to see me here. I asked how it started. She said it had been going on for months. They worked close together with a group of people, and he was always friendly, but nothing inappropriate at first. I would take it with a grain of salt, anything she tells this guy. Then when I would cancel plans, she sometimes joined her colleagues at the pub after work. He picked up on it, asking her why I canceled, and started there. Well, I could actually believe this got one of these types of guys would swoop in to see an unhappy woman, unhappy wife, that type of thing. That, I'm sure, is probably, there's truth to that. But she's old enough to know what's going on. She should have communicated to her husband, eye to eye, in a way he understands, being direct, not hints and innuendos, how unhappy she is. And I guarantee this guy would have made the effort and done things differently, even though, guess what? It takes two to fuck up a situation. She continued on, saying that one night after a few drinks, they stayed behind while the others left. And he told her that he was married to her, he'd never cancel a date. Get the fuck out of here. This is the guy's cheating on his wife. I mean, come on. If this guy was married to this woman here, he'd be cheating her with another chick. They kissed, and she immediately regretted it and took an Uber home, even though he offered to drop her off. After that, things got more subtle, but continued. Eventually, they worked late nights together on a project, and things escalated. Yeah, define working late, and define a project. I just sat there listening, and I told her I was devastated when I saw that she had taken him on the trip that I'd planned for us. She said she was mad at me after an argument we'd had and took the trip to him to spite me. Oh, okay, there you go. So instead of, again, talking about things, communicating like adults, she's mad at you and is going to show you and get revenge on you. Does this sound like someone you want to stay married to? She now knows how messed up that was and wishes she could undo it all. I know I made mistakes too. We both have demanding jobs, and I took some things for granted. But I always tried to call and make up for it. She acknowledged that, but still said that she felt like she wasn't a priority. I asked her if she fell in love with him. She swore she didn't, that she just liked the attention he gave her. I'm sure the attention part, she's speaking in half-truth here. Oh, of course she loved the attention, but loves him? She's definitely infatuated with him. She loves the attention and validation. That's a guarantee. But regardless, she wanted to know where my head was. I told her I was heartbroken, that I never imagined we'd be here. We always communicated, but it turns out that we weren't talking about the right things. I reminded her that cheating was a deal breaker for me, and she knew that. She said she understood if I wanted a divorce, but hoped I might give her another chance to make things right. She doesn't understand. That's just bold. That's just what people like to say. The truth is, this guy moves forward the divorce, she's going to go full hell hath no fury on him. I'm not sure if I'm being a fool, but I told her I hadn't decided yet. Smack. Bro, don't fall for it. I made it clear that if we were going to attempt reconciliation, there would be conditions. I told her she had to cut off all contact with him. She agreed, write down every detail of the relationship, every kiss, every trip, every time they were intimate. And if I found out she had left anything out, I would leave immediately. And she agreed. I told her she had to tell our friends and family what she did. There was some hesitation, but she eventually agreed. Now, guys, before you want to throw your hands in the air, just let me finish this story. And she had to start individual counseling to figure out why she did this, and she agreed. Please, she'll go to a therapist that's biased, and the therapist will convince her she did the right thing. In the meantime, I scheduled a meeting with my divorce lawyer next week to understand my options, because I don't want to be caught off guard again. I don't plan on telling her this. Good. If you're saying this to calm her the fuck down, meanwhile you're meeting with your attorney, planning things out, fair enough. She was sneaky, so can you. Earlier today, the guy's wife messaged me. She asked if I'd be willing to meet with her and talk later. I agreed. My wife knows, but she isn't happy about it. Tough shit, asshole. You've been meeting this guy forever, porking this guy, going to the lake, hooking up with him. I can meet whoever I want. You want me to stay with you? Then we're going to play by my rules going forward. Otherwise, get the fuck out. And for the record, my wife knew he was married all along. Apparently, he told her his wife had changed after they got married, was treating him badly, and refused to have sex with him. And he was planning to divorce her. I'm starting to realize this guy might have been lying the entire time just to sleep with my wife. You think? At this point, I'm emotionally and physically drained. Bro, I get you going through an emotional roller coaster, that you've been with her for 10 years, married for 8, that up until this point you truly loved her, but don't fall for it. Remember how she was so sorry and begging and crying when you confronted her in the last story, and then you go tell the wife, now she's mad at you for that, and how it makes her look publicly, and then she was worried about telling your friend and this story getting out to your social circle, more worried about that than you. This says everything. She's telling you exactly what you want to hear. I do believe she doesn't want to get divorced, but I also believe this guy was willing to leave his wife for her. She'd probably be gone. This is what they do. I've covered thousands of these stories, and they all go the same way. So human nature is human nature wherever you live. So don't fall for it, bro. You ended this story on at least a somewhat hopeful note that you're going to meet with your lawyer. A good lawyer will probably give you all the options, what you can expect, and might even tell you what I'm telling you, that she's saying what she's saying to preserve this. And if you take her back now after all this, I guarantee you she'll probably be on her best behavior for a little while, but sooner or later she'll go right back to doing with somebody else, if not him. Thinking, hey, look what I did before, and he took me back. She didn't respect you before, she really ain't going to respect you now. You're a guy who's not that old. You got your whole life ahead of you. End it. Take the hit. You'll survive and move on. And in the future, don't be putting these gals that you're so in love with on the pedestal so much, making, your existence about them. That's not a good idea. And yeah, you know what? Okay, you got consumed by work, as anybody. It can happen to anybody, but a good, loving wife will communicate with you in a way that you understand instead of doing all this bullshit behind your back. Okay? And that whole wedding video thing was done on purpose to trigger an emotional response out of you, to manipulate you. And I'm glad you recognize that. So don't fall for this crap. And again, she's saying all this. No, remember what she did. And I know you want to get divorced. Nobody does, but I'm telling you, it will get way worse. You stick with her. So anyway, guys, we will continue on with this story. I guarantee there's going to be more updates here. So definitely stay tuned. And if you see any updates, let me know. Because, I got so many videos going around circulation, it's hard to keep up. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.